Out to National Football Show. It's your boy Big Sills. Appreciate you guys stepping in. I want to show you something here again, how everyone keeps talking like we were just talking in the last hour about this Super Bowl window. You don't have a 5 or 6 year Super Bowl window. There's 14 free agents at the end of this year. 14. That team's going to completely be different, and you're going to have to start addressing your quarterback at $40 million. Now, you drop that as an extension, and signing bonus will probably take more over this coming season and then the following year like they did with Mahomes. But at the end of the day here, like I was telling you, Andre Dillard and Isaac Seumalo are going to make freaking enormous money in the open market, and they're free agents. You know why? They could start on 80% of the NFL's offensive lines today. It's the shittiest play of O-line I've seen in 25 years. Those guys are going to command enormous money. Let's bring in my friend, and man, do I love him, man. Barrett Brooks from Sports Take. You guys do such a great job. Am I right when I say that, Barrett, that
bro, they are going to. You could just back the Brinks trucks up for anybody that leaves that offensive line. Look, Nate Herbig left the line last year. You had Big V left. 2 years before that, signed a $50 million deal, 5-year, $50 million deal. When you leave this Eagles organization, an offensive lineman, you get paid, and you're right. You get a small amount of time to maximize the players that you have on the team. 14 free agents is ridiculous, and I mean how he did it, but he was trying to win this year. So that's all those guys are here for, just the, almost like Reynolds, because there's no way to be able to sign all those guys back. Nobody's going to take the hometown discount like most guys do. Those days are over with. The Tom Brady days of taking less money to make sure you have a good roster are over, bro. These days, they want the money now. And
absolutely.
Who do you sign?
I see the Eagles re-signing 8 guys. That's still going to be, I think, a lot, because are you going to let C.J. Gardner-Johnson go? You're going to have to pay him $17 million because he's not going to want to be paid as a safety, Barrett. He came in with the notion that he was going to be a slot corner. And then you got Bradbury, who's a free agent. And then you got, get this, Darius Slay turns 32 at the top of the year. You're going to have $17 million guys. That's the floor mark for a corner, and a top flight corner in the NFL. You're going to pay all that money to those guys next year. And again, I know I'm getting ahead of everything here a little bit, but I'm just saying how he's going to move money around, because I don't think Fletcher Cox and Hargrave are there. So maybe they move some of that money around, but I think this offseason is going to be exceptionally interesting.
We'll talk about the key to this defense playing the way it's playing is, and nobody really talks about him a lot, but TJ Edwards is right there in the mix of being one of the top linebackers in the league. They're going to have to sign him back. Or do you sign Kazir White back?
No, I want Edwards.
I want Edwards also. I want him also. You look at that. You look at the rush ends you have. I mean, there's so many guys right now. BG will probably be gone. Along with, Hargraves and Fletcher Cox, like you said. You got a small amount of time to maximize it. That's why it's a must-win this year. That's why he went out and got Sue and Joseph, because he understands that narrow window. They got to maximize it right now.
Barrett, you said something that was so spot on about the Eagle offense. Now, I think that offense, and I'm gonna get your opinion on if you think that type of offense can win a Super Bowl, and it hasn't. However, you said something that's so right. Dude, the teams that get in trouble all the time in the postseason are the dome teams, and the teams that can't play in weather. The teams that play in weather are the teams that go out and can play multiple. You could play in hot weather in Miami, or you could play in cold weather up in Green Bay. Those are the key things you have to have. And that's a great point about the Eagle offense. It's weatherproof.
You could run that offense anywhere. And that's why we're talking about the Miami team. Tua plays great with the Cheetah and, those guys down there in South Florida. But they still got to go up to New England. They've got to go up to Buffalo, Baltimore. I mean, those are cold weather places, man. And it's a lot different from going out there and hitting somebody when it's 80 degrees outside, as opposed to hitting somebody when it's what, 5 degrees, 4 degrees in Buffalo. Playing in snow in Foxborough. I mean, those climates become like a 12th man. So you got to be a man to play in those type of conditions.
Barrett, do you agree one of the reasons why you don't really see a lot of spread out numbers, and follow me here when I say this, the reason in Miami you're going to have two wideouts with 1,500 yards is because that's their base offense, throwing the ball as many times as they can. Philly is based off the run pass option. That's what they are. And when I'm trying to tell people this, when you're coming down the line of scrimmage and Jalen is reading that safety, isn't that part of the built-in part of that style of offense, Barrett, that it's a one-option read? It's not a two-option read when you're doing RPO. When you're drop back, you've got three progressions. When you're RPO, you're coming down, looking at the safety linebacker, whomever's going to crash down or whoever's going to drop. That's your read. That's why you don't see Devonta involved a lot in the numbers. Or it's this, like you guys say all the time. 1 week it's Goddard. 1 week it's AJ. But you know what, Barrett? It's never all of them in a game.
Yeah.
Is that part of the built-in offense? I think it's brilliant because they're maximizing Jalen, and that's what makes it unique. That's just your take on what I said there about it.
Well, when you run that RPO, you're right. You're looking at one read, and you're maximizing that read with three options in which you can do it. If that end stays outside, you hand it off. If the end crashes, you keep it. If that end and that safety vacate, you throw behind them with the slant. It just so happens that A.J. Brown is the guy that's in the slant position. They run it also where the backside, they put a tight end. They run it off the tight end side, whatever, that linebacker does, or in that defensive end, same way. You just run Goddard with an out play, and you run him with an out, and whatever happens with that out, you can either throw it to him on the out, or you can throw it to the receiver coming in to block that safety and pinch him up, and you have a wide open guy in the middle. They know how to run it, which is why I tell people that Jalen Hurts is more than just an option quarterback. He's more than just a passing quarterback. He has to read all those 3 or 4 of those things simultaneously. He has to make sure he makes the right decision. The Eagles are the only team that maximizes the quarterback position in not just the passing, when he has to read the pass, read the safeties, read, what the defense is giving him, but he also has to read what on run plays, what's going on in front of him. So, man, he's not just your average guy. He has a lot of stuff that he has to read before he even makes a decision going forward.
Let me throw this at you here too. Give me a grade. Devonta Smith, and I brought this up on you guys' show, almost 30 games, 3 100-yard games in those 30 games. One of the things that I said when I first got here, one of my first day, someone asked me about Devonta Smith being added to the Eagles. I said, well, I think he's a really good talent. He's just on the wrong team. How do you look at that? And I get this. He's 10-1. He's a great kid. 10-1 is gonna. You're not always gonna be 10-1. And when you start looking at your numbers, getting this, well, I'm getting 5-yard wheel routes. I mean, your business partner is gonna come to you, Barrett, and go, "Hey, man, this is why Hollywood Brown left Baltimore."
That's exactly why. See, that's the only thing about being in this type of offense is that you have to be an unselfish player, and unselfish in the aspect that you may not be that guy that the focus will be on. You may not be the focal point of the offense. The offense could focus on one guy, and it opens up everybody else. But when you have a run game the way they have, man, those passing plays get cut in half. And you as a receiver, especially when like right now it's cool, but once it comes contract year, you might not have the happy and smiley Devonta Smith. You know what I'm saying? He might not be the guy that is all smiles and kisses and seeing the world through pink glasses. He might be a little pissed off because he hasn't shown the potential of being the player that we thought that he would be as the 10th pick in the draft. He was a top 10 pick.
And Barrett, look, I think the kid's a good player. I just think it's really a lot to ask. Like you said, Jalen's doing so much in the run game. I mean, I don't think people realize how important center position is on odd or even, blocking schemes, all that shit. The center position, man, is like a quarterback with his hand in the dirt. He's got so much responsibility in there on setting the front. And when you got a quarterback that has that kind of importance too, I mean, it just, to me, man, I mean, to try to get Devonta involved in this, you would think too, with Goddard being down, Goddard's impact. And let me throw this at you here. What do you think will be a bigger impact on this team? C.J. Gardner-Johnson's loss or the loss of Dallas Goedert?
I think Goddard is probably the biggest loss. Although I'm not downplaying the fact that I think the biggest loss thus far that's made the most impact is more likely the fact that we don't have a slot corner. Avonte Maddox's absence is glaring on how they play the defense. It's glaring. And we don't say it a lot. We don't see it a lot until you see a Josiah Scott out there playing, or Reed Blankenship playing. These guys.
You think that secondary's getting beat up because of the poor tackling that it is, and the fact that the team early in the year struggled against the run, that those guys had to make more physical plays in the secondary?
That's exactly what it is.
And that's now starting to have the Chip Kelly factor here.
Well, I think it's going to be better with Reed Blankenship being at the safety position and him coming down and filling the run. He'll know his run lanes. He's played the position. C.J. Gardner-Johnson never played the position, so he didn't really know his run fit. So that's why they got split, a lot with run plays, because he's not the guy that's going to come attack. Now he can go cover his ass off because he's a slot corner. That's why he has 6 interceptions. But him filling in a run, that's just not what he does. Now Reed Blankenship, he's coming to make a name for himself. So it might be a clash of the titans. You might see one of the biggest hits in the world with Reed Blankenship, because number one, he's so young and dumb. He doesn't know that he's not supposed to go up and hit a 250-pound, 6'3" running back. But he's gonna go fill because he knows he has to maximize his potential right now that he can play. Because right now they jumped Kayvon Wallace for him.
Yeah,
he's got to show that he belongs there. So I think that he's gonna be a factor. They're gonna try to make him a factor because they don't want him covering. They don't want him covering all. They want him being in the box and filling the hole and on run plays.
2 last questions here for you. Here's why I'm picking the Titans to win Sunday, 23-20. Because what I watched Cincinnati do in that game the previous week, they were blitzing on first and second down, and what they were doing, they were running games in the middle with them tackles in there, and they were not letting Henry get going. And to me, I'm looking at it like this. So do I believe Jonathan Gannon is going to do run stunts on first and second down? No. Do I think he's going to bring safety blitzes on him? No. So you're going to let the best running back that we've seen maybe since Emmett, and one of the most powerful backs in the league since Adrian Peterson, you're going to let that guy get a head start on you where you've struggled, and all of a sudden you're going to do this. You're going to put 5 in the box. Okay. So Jonathan Gannon's going to take one of his guys out of the secondary, which they're already thin at, and make a 5-man where Tannehill 2 weeks ago, Barrett threw for 331. And here's the other thing with Tannehill. He's got a hurt ankle. Blitz that fucker.
Yeah.
Blitz him. Move him around. I mean, I just don't see that guy doing any of that.
Their only saving grace right now is the big fella's coming back. Davis is coming back. And they're going to put Linville Joseph over the nose. They're going to put Davis on one outside, 3-eye, 4-eye, and they're going to put Sue on the other side. Now they can put on the edges. They could put a guy like Sweat on one edge and Fletcher Cox at the other edge. Now they'll be able to set the edge. Now those linebackers back there can work in space. They can come downhill and make plays on the big fella. They cannot allow – they got to get penetration. If they can get penetration and make him start and stop or slow him down, then don't let him get his momentum going, they got a legitimate shot. And I really believe Linville Joseph and Big Davis are the key to that. They can make him start and stop. I believe they can whoop them guys up front. Looking at their offensive line, I think that we have a better defensive line than they have an offensive line, and they can make those guys move. Ben Jones, he was on the injured list. He's now off the injured list. He's going to play. I think that's a decided advantage to us with Linville Joseph pushing them up the field. They can get penetration up front. Penetration kills all run plays. That's the key to the game. If they can play that 5-man front and cover from the tail end, I think they'll be okay.
Do you agree that one of the reasons that Tennessee may make up for the loss of A.J. Brown in this game is that I heard you bring this up, and I thought it's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to run them swing routes to Henry and get him out.
That's exactly what they're going to do.
They're going to get him out in space, aren't they? Because they know they're thin back there without Avonte Maddox back there.
Exactly.
And CJ back there. I think you're going to see a lot of that Dillon play we saw this past week in Green Bay.
And it was killing us. Because everybody was thinking they ran the ball with. No, they wasn't that they were running the ball with us. They threw the pass out to Dillon on the outside, and he came downhill, and he was getting 6-7 yards a pop. You know what I'm saying? Before they can get him slowed down. Can you imagine Henry out there one-on-one? He might take it to the house.
Run some business decisions out there, right, dude. You're gonna see that freight. Hey, you're gonna see that refrigerator running at you. You're gonna be like, man, I think I gotta get down on this one.
We got 5 more games in the season.
Yeah, how many games is 5? Oh shit, I'm getting down now. Ain't no working that. Okay, so this is the most important question of the entire interview here. How's the eggnog in the and the crown, man? Because listen, oh, dude, you got it in a jar too. Holy shit.
In a mason jar.
Dude, you're going old school. You in the jar. Oh, my God. Dude, you're old school in the jar.
It's the weekend, man. I get to celebrate. I ain't got to go to Mother John's. The weekend. I'm celebrating now. I slowed down a little bit just so I was going to be on your show. I'm going to be full go. I'm going to be like King Henry in a minute, man, going full throttle on this, bro. Full throttle.
Hey. I love, man, when your kids come over, man. My kid come over, man, they shop. Shit, man, my kid comes over, man. She don't even know I'm here. She just eats everything, leaves it, goes, and I'm like, yeah, hey, how you doing? Everything
right. She come always shopping in your refrigerator, shopping your pantry, and then leave.
Shit, are you kidding me, man? I see things in there. Hey, I have to eat when my kid comes home because when my kid's not here, my old lady don't cook, dude.
Right.
I gotta fatten up when she gets here, man. I love you, man. Have a great weekend, Barrett. I'll see you on Monday, man.
Yes, sir.
You got it. That is my man, Barrett.